back at it again. Victor and I are back at it again, and we've got questions from the field.
Scary.
It is.
Here we go.
But we're going to answer them. You send them, we'll cover them. This one happens to come from a young salesman with us, Victor.
Yep.
His first year, he sold $709,000. Brandon Raffstanger out of Cincinnati, Ohio.
How do you pronounce that last name?
I believe it's Raffstanger.
Let me see it. Reifstanger. Okay. I think I give it more punch. Give it more punch. Make it sound like a Viking.
I'm going to say he's from
Brandon
Cincinnati.
Reifstanger. Yeah, I like that.
Here's what Brandon said. I believe a great topic that you and Victor can discuss is the do's and don'ts and strategies in selling in homes. Obviously, the home is where we do business on the residential side, and this would be a helpful topic for veterans who've been selling in homes for years and rookies who have never sold anything inside homes ever. I am sure there are insightful tips that you and Victor can talk about. I would love to hear the conversation, as well as read Victor's new book, which I sent Brandon, by the way, Victor. His podcast has been a great influence to me in my young sales career. This young fella's 25 years old, sold $700,000.
Oh, man.
He's earning six digits, baby.
He's
25.
He's on the fast track. Way to go.
Amen.
Brandon Reifstanger.
He listed a couple of questions, but let's just tackle one right now.
Let's do it.
In today's sales climate, what are some suggestions to overcome the mindset of thinking with your own pocketbook? This is a lot of our folks.
Okay.
This was me. I'll tell a story first.
Tell the story. I got to hear your story.
We started selling. I was a termite salesman up in Ohio, and we started selling this insulation, this Oregon Therm. We were one of the first regions to do it. This is back in mid-90s, right? 94, 95. We started selling insulation. And I knew my house needed insulation. I mean, I knew it needed a lot of insulation. But I never bought it, Victor. I never bought it. I didn't buy it for 9 years. And you know why I didn't buy it? Because I thought I was going to do it myself, and I never did. But the other thing is, I didn't believe it at that price. And I wasn't going to spend $1,200 to put insulation in my attic when I thought I could do it myself. So what I ended up doing is probably paying $2,000 in heating bills that I could have avoided if I would have just bit the bullet. And I think oftentimes what we find is, when I talk to salespeople, when they're struggling with a particular product, they're thinking about what the customer's willing to pay. And they're looking at it as if it's their pocketbook. And as Brandon so eloquently says, they're thinking with their pocketbook versus the customer. Talk a little bit about that, how we got to get past that.
Yeah, it's almost like an imposter syndrome, right? Because you can't afford it or you don't want to pay for it. Therefore, why would I sell it? Yeah. But I'm not going to blame you, Ed. I'm letting you off the hook. I'm not blaming you for not taking action. Here's why. I think the salesperson that you dealt with did a poor job. Here's why. You mentioned the two things. One is you said, I'll do it myself. Now, a true salesman would have blocked that objection. Now, many people think they can do it themselves, right? But let me walk you through a lot of reasons why you don't want to do it yourself. Boom. Could have blocked that objection, offer some proof, and then say, tie down the objection. Based on what I've just told you and shown you, can you now see why you wouldn't want to do it yourself? Then boom, we tie down that objection. Then you're thinking it's too expensive. Other people think insulation is just not worth it, it's too expensive. I understand. Raise the objection. Now, I'll say something like this. I'll then say, let me show you a couple of reasons why spending $1,200 in the long run, knowing that you're going to be here for at least 10 years, is going to be worth it. Then I demo and I show and I tie down that objection by saying, Ed, can you now see how spending $1,200 today is going to save you $3,000 over the next 10 years? Ed would say, I see it. So I blame the salesperson for not being as effective as they should have been when selling to you.
Amen.
Yeah.
The other piece I think that maybe Brandon's looking for too is that, we do this bundling, right? And there's this apprehension of bundle for a whole bunch of reasons. But I think the root cause and the root evil in our lack of bundling is we look at something and we say, man, I would never drop $15,000 on services like that.
Right.
So it gets in our head because maybe we don't have the 15 grand, or maybe we have the 15 grand and we just don't think we would ever do it. And again, spending the customer's money instead of just serving it up and putting it out there and letting them make the decision with their pocketbook, we kind of tie their hands up and say, we're not even going to offer it to you because we wouldn't buy it. Talk a little bit about that.
I think that's ego. It's got a different twist here. I think that's ego. Ego in the sense that you don't offer it up because you think, because you can't afford it, they can't afford it. So you're really focused on you. You're not focusing on the customer. Amen. See, I don't have to have installation to sell installation. I see the value and I'm going to pitch the value. Now, if I'm feeling that imposter syndrome, I'm thinking part of it is because I really don't understand its real value, or else I would have bought. If you really understood the installation value, you would have bought it, Ed. If I'd explained it to you, you would have bought it. But because you didn't understand the value and you didn't see the value, you didn't buy it. But now you're carrying that, you're porting that over to this customer conversation, and you say, well, I didn't buy it. Well, I don't even know how to present it. So there's two problems here. One is the imposter syndrome. I don't have it, therefore I don't think I should sell it. It's like when people sell financial services and they're talking to millionaires, multimillionaires, but they only have, $50,000 in their bank account, right? They'll think, I can't sell to them. And I'm like, no. I said, no. If you have a domain expertise and you offer knowledge, real value, that doesn't matter if you have it. You're offering, you let them decide. You don't decide for them. And I think that's what I think Brandon's kind of saying that, is that he's so in his head and so in his own pocket that he's making decisions on what he should sell based on what he can afford, which is the wrong way of going about this. So my point here is that if you're going to sell something, understand its real value. But the thing is, here's the thing, Ed. When you understand the value of something like insulation, like you really understand, like it's almost like if I could just reach across and just grab you and just say, Ed, listen to me. Listen to me. You need this. This is why you need. I mean, you don't do that with your customers, but that's the type of passion I would like to see, that somebody goes, no, look, I know you don't want to put it in the installation, but let me walk you through why this is important. I said, I'm only emphasizing this because, this is something I know you need. And I think that removes the imposter syndrome. Even if you can't afford it, there's no reason you can't offer it to somebody who can afford it. In fact, there's a reason to offer it to somebody who can afford it.
Absolutely. And I think that's the gap that we get in, and the gap that we find. And I think you kind of hammered it home with, a lot of the reasons that we don't offer these services sometimes is that lack of knowledge and understanding. We have so many services that we offer these days. You roll up on the threshold of a home, you can bundle up $25,000 worth of services. And I think the reason that we don't do it and we don't offer those services, we're using our own pocketbook, looking at it through that lens. Right. And the other fact is we haven't built the confidence in the products and know what they do.
And the value. So you're highlighting two things, and I'm glad you're separating it out. One is that we're using our wallet point of view because we couldn't afford it, but we also have the lack of value point of view because we don't know how to position the value. Perfect. I think those two things tie together very nicely.
Bring those together, and we'll be getting more bundles.
Yeah.
And Brandon may sell $1 million next year.
Reifstanger, go.
Go get it, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, let's get out of here.
All right.
Till next time, continue to separate yourself from the competition by being different and good selling.